you tell I'm in denial?
You can't stay at the top forever.
I was also very surprised when I looked at my phone and saw Joe Girardi dismissed.
Well, I think mine were with common sense.
I think now belongs in the all-time greats top 10.
Boston, I really think only got to this point because of a guy named Chris Middleton being out for the Bucks.
That power play just was unbearable. It was humming.
Man, am I happy. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew he was going to come back.
When I think of New York Yankees now is Judge, probably people in the past when Jeter was coming up.
I would be shocked. A little bit hurt.
Hey, this is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, TexasFootball.com, and Valley Sports Southwest. You are listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host with Harrison Bader like hair, Austin.
I guess that is true. Not the color necessarily, but
well, yes.
Kind of works out.
Yeah, I have a quick question before we get into the trade deadline. Bringing up Harrison Bader, I got into a debate with people about between the three players, Dansby Swanson, Harrison Bader, or Bobby Witt. I tried to put Josh Smith in the conversation, but they said no. Who has the best hair?
You're going to call me biased, but I got to say Bader.
I agree. I think it's Bader. And
Bader got some luscious locks. I got to say it.
I know. Okay. So I'm glad we agree. A lot of people were saying Dansby Swanson, but
nah,
Bader. So, okay. Cool. So we agree. So, we'll get into, I'm sure we'll get into the Bader deal because I want to talk about that. Because the Yankees, I think, had a good deadline. The Bader deal, I'm interested in how that turns out, but we'll see if either of us has that in our little rankings that we did. I'll let you explain it, but we're doing something very similar to what we did for the predictions video.
Yep. Do you want to start with the AL or NL?
Well, yeah, so we're just talking most impactful trade? Or
what we thought was the best trade. And the way we did it was if we set a team, so the teams have to be for, it could be confusing. Like, do we include it for which division? The division of one team or the other. It's who we thought won the trade. So, for example, in the Harrison Bader deal, we could do Cardinals or Yankees, whoever we thought we'd either be put in the NL Central or AL East, depending on what we thought. So, do you want to start?
Yeah. So, I'm starting with the NL East. I'm doing the Brandon Marsh deal for the Phillies. Phillies had a very interesting deadline, given how they had a weak farm system, but they got Brandon Marsh, who's a young player, 24 years old, great defensive center fielder, which is what they needed. And I know he's struggling with the offense, but to me, that's okay with the Phillies of getting someone who's just the opposite of what they did in the offseason. A guy who's great on defense. He still has potential offensively, but primarily his best qualities are on the defensive side of the ball and in a position of need. So I really liked it for the Phillies. I was surprised with what the Angels did. That's why I kind of lean towards the Phillies on winning this trade.
Interesting. I really did not expect that. Mine is a little bit different, mainly because I went more of a pitching aspect for a lot of these because pitching is extremely important in today's game, and it always has been, but I feel like relievers and all of that stuff is extremely important in winning games. So I went with David Robertson. So Phillies, for both of us, making the trade, but they got David Robertson, which I felt was an amazing deal for them because he's played outstanding, and I think he is very necessary for them to get to the playoffs, for him to play well. They need a reliever. They need someone to close, and I think he could do it.
Interesting. Once you said reliever or pitcher, I was like, oh, it's going to be the Rocio Iglesias move for the Braves. Nope. But that's another good trade. But yeah, the Phillies, very interesting deadline, and I think a good deadline for them. They didn't give up a ton for their future, but they also got impact players for now and the future. But now we're going to the NL Central. Do you want to take this one first?
Sure. So for the NL Central, I really believe that the best move made included a Yankee, and it was the Harrison Bader trade, but I'm putting it for the Cardinals. And the reason why is Jordan Montgomery, I really think is that good. He had a he had a bad stretch there for the Yankees, but I truly believe that they won this trade. Harrison Bader is out for a while. Hopefully he'll be back this season. I'm really praying that he gets back and is back to 100%, his great defensive play and everything. But I don't know if that's going to happen. And because of that unknowing, I believe that the Cardinals won this trade. They get a good starter to pair next to Adam Wainwright and all their other starters. So who do you have?
Yeah, I'm assuming you don't like the Yankees trade.
I
Uh,
don't hate it.
okay.
I don't hate it. But I also think that it is important to realize that Bader is not healthy. And if he was, I'd like this trade a lot more.
And like that's how like I don't hate it. Like I understand what you're getting in Bader, and I think it offers you to put Judge in right field. Just because I don't know health wise if Judge over sustained amount of time can stay in center field. But you got Bader, who I think is a great talent, but you dealt from to me a position you really don't want to mess with in the starting rotation depth, especially
Mm-hmm.
with Severino or there are two Severinos now in the Yankees, correct? Or no, Trevino. I'm thinking of Trevino.
Yeah,
Lou Trevino.
Trevino, yeah.
Okay, okay, but Severino just went
And
down.
Jose Trevino.
Oh, okay. So
But they're
okay,
spelled
two
different.
Trevinos,
Two
one
Trevinos, yeah.
Severino. Okay,
Yes.
but he just went down, and to me, in the AL, which I was going to talk about, we talked about like the second half of this episode. To me, it's really whoever it's between the Astros and Yankees, in my opinion, for which teams go to the World Series. Um, and to me, I think the Astros still had the edge on starting pitching against the Yankees, but now to me, they definitely have the edge given the Yankees dealt Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, and I feel that. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I would still have the Yankees above because I like what we did with relievers. Um, I really like what we did with relievers, but I agree with you. Starting pitching, I would give to the Astros.
Yeah, but I think it would be a great series, and I know we went more on the AL side of this, but we'll get more into that later, or I want to talk more about that. But the NL Central, I have the Luis Castillo trade for the Reds. I know they dealt a great pitcher in Luis Castillo, and I think it made sense for the Mariners, but they had to give up a lot. They had to give up three out of their top five prospects. And I think it really just injected a lot of talent into this red system. And there are a lot of great infielders with them. I believe, oh, I can't remember, but there are some just incredible players in this deal. Like I can't remember. I think Acosta. They got Acosta. I think that was from the Padres deal. Um, but still, just getting that high talent from a good system with the Mariners, I think, is a win for the Reds that desperately need talent.
Yeah, that was a really good trade. They needed to make a move with Castillo because he's still a quality starting pitcher, and they don't want him to potentially fall off and him lose a lot of value. It hurts to lose him though. He played well in a Reds jersey, and it sucks to see him leave. But I definitely think the Reds won this trade. I agree with you with that.
Yeah, and just to jump in, Edwin Awario was the player I was trying to hit up, and then Noelvi Marte, great infielders. Um, but now I think we can move on to the NL West, and well, I'm wondering how you feel about the Juan Soto deal, but I have the Juan Soto deal as a win. I know you and I disagreed in the Juan Soto deal. So do you still feel the same way about it?
Not necessarily completely, but I definitely think that the Nationals won the trade. I don't think it was the best trade, so that's why I didn't have it like that uh, completely. However, I definitely feel like it was a lot of value given up by the Padres to make a trade for a guy who's only taken one spot in the lineup.
Okay. All right, so I was wondering, do you want to do like a little bet? I don't know what the deal is, but I would basically I would have Juan Soto, and then versus the prospects they gave up, I would only say you can't include all of them because of the Josh Bell, or one prospect has to go towards Josh Bell. Maybe you can do Voit for Josh Bell, or I'm
I'm
do
gonna
you,
explain. Just
so
explain.
if it were just like C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, Wood for Soto, I'd go okay. So you have Wood, who did I just say? Wood, Gore, and Abrams, and whatever they do, if that equaled Juan Soto, or they won a World Series, or the Nationals won a World Series with those guys being starters, I would say you win the bet.
Hmm.
And then if they don't, or if the Padres win a World Series with Juan Soto, then I win the bet. I don't know what we win, but we have like 3 years to figure out the bet. But the
We
thing
have
is, you included
unless
Josh Bell, so I don't know how to work it out now. But are you interested in doing the bet?
I still have to see. I'll do it, sure.
Okay.
I'm still a little
And
bit confused. What do you mean with Josh Bell?
so
So,
Josh Bell's so like to me, the Padres gave up a lot for Juan Soto, but they also got Josh Bell.
hmm.
So I don't know if they still trade, if they were just to trade for Juan Soto, would they not give up Wood or someone else or a prospect?
Interesting.
So I was gonna say like you choose which prospects counted towards Juan Soto
Uh-huh.
in the trade, and then those are your guys, and then I get Juan Soto for as long as he's a Padre.
And does this include like all-stars, rookie of the
Yes,
years?
like All Star Rookie of the Years, we can figure out a system to where it would basically be comparing what they did to the accolades Juan Soto did with the Padres.
Interesting.
Because I'm still under like what I was in the video. To me, I think you have a great chance right now. I know I've mortgaged the future, or AJ Preller's mortgaged the future. Um, with this team, like it is now, and then it's gonna be a terrible team once this window ends. But to me, you have the window.
Especially if Juan Soto does not re-sign. I feel like I
And
just
I
need to
don't know if he
mention that.
will resign.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
someone was like, you have 3 Octobers with Juan Soto. And to me, that just has an incredible value, which is why I'm like, you should, like, that's why I was like so adamant of like, do it right now. Do it. Whatever you give up, you can figure it out later. But right now, you have, and then you get Josh Bell. And that's not even with Josh Bell, which is why I think it's a huge benefit. And I'm surprised they included Josh Bell in this trade.
They
Like,
had to because of everything that they were talking about with like, are they going to include Eric Hosmer and all this other stuff? And then the Nationals wanted more prospects, and Josh Bell isn't really a prospect because of his age, unfortunately. So
yeah.
it
But
turned out that he was included.
yeah. So I know what you're saying. Like they should have traded Josh Bell, but I just didn't know if they could have traded to another team and gotten more value from them.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Cool. But yeah. We can figure out the prospects. But you're down for the bet. I get Juan Soto for as long as he's a Padre.
Does it include every single person in the trade?
Well, that's my point. Like, I don't think you can include one because, like, in respect to Josh Bell, or do you disagree? Like, all those guys are just for Juan Soto.
I don't think all those guys are for Juan Soto.
Okay, which guys do you think are for Juan Soto?
Ooh, ooh, that's tough.
So that's my point. Like, whoever got whichever the guys that were meant for Juan Soto, those are your guys that
Interesting.
you that you
Okay,
have.
I'm intrigued, but I think we need to wait to
Okay,
see who we want to include. I don't
Well,
think this season should count, mainly because I
I
don't know who I want to include yet, and we have to see like health wise and all that other stuff. I guess if the Padres win a championship, I'll count it, but I don't want to count like this year's Juan Soto All Star and stuff like that.
no. It's to me, it's like I won't include the All Stars from this year, but like his contributions in the playoffs, I would count. Like it's still very iffy on this bet,
Got it. Got it.
but it's basically we're comparing the two players because we were on different sides.
Uh huh.
So, but I would say like you choose the guys, but I'm gonna ask you to. I'm gonna put like a time limit on it, like we were doing the trade. Like there was a time limit
Got
to
it.
which
Got it.
guys I gotta
Got it.
send. So I'm not
That
gonna
makes
give
a lot of
you like
sense.
6 months to decide which guys. I'll give you like a month or two.
Hmm.
But I do think it also worked out for the Nationals. But I'm on the side of like you got it right now. Great lineup now once Tatis comes back. But to me, the time for the Padres to win are next year. Is next year.
Yeah.
So that's a long thing for the NL West. But we'll keep y'all updated on the bet. And we'll discuss it more. But what's your team for the NL West?
For the NL West, this was a really hard division for me because I was really focusing on other sides of the trade deadline besides obviously the Juan Soto deal that was absolutely massive and everyone was like losing their mind. But I would say I'm still kind of going between it. Uh, I like what the Padres were able to get for somebody like Eric Hosmer, who decided to decline uh, everything. But I'm going to go with the Padres getting Josh Hader. I think that was probably a bigger trade than Juan Soto, and I said I was going pitcher with this extremely hard. But getting a reliever, I know what Josh Hader is struggling, but he has postseason experience. I know so does Juan Soto. But getting a closer to lock down the majority of playoff games is huge. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I once you said you were going pitcher specific, I was wondering if you were gonna say Hater as it, and you did. And the Padres made a lot of moves, and I think it's a questionable move for the Brewers. Makes sense for the Padres because you get Hater and you still have some great hitters, but now you add Juan Soto and Josh Bell into this big mix. And to me, they gave up some prospects, but it makes sense when you're giving up Hater and you're essentially buying low on Hater and you've still got a couple of years of control, so it can work out for them. And I know they struggled with holding leads because Taylor Rogers, who they sent, or is that
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they
that's what they
sent?
sent. Yeah.
He had blown a lead like a few weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah,
Or
he
I
had.
just saw a tweet.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
makes sense to me. Like, okay, you essentially upgrade at closer. So yeah, I see your point in the NL West. But now we'll go to the AL East, and I'll let you choose which team won.
This is another tough one. The AL East, there are so many moves. There's so many moves by a lot of teams. Every team made a plethora of moves, and it was tough deciding this. And you may think it's a joke, but I'm just gonna say the Joey Gallo trade. And it's mainly because he held something over the team. I think of just whenever there was a big play and we needed something, he could never come through. And the fact that we got something for Joey Gallo, I think is massive because of how he played. He hit 159 with us for his career.
Yeah.
It,
I'm not
it
sure, or what. I'll let you
you
continue. My
go.
bad.
No, you go.
Okay. I'm not sure if you saw the Athletic article with Joey Gallo.
Oh no, I haven't.
He was like, I don't know what rock bottom is in the MLB, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty close. Like it went the worst way it could have gone with the Yankees. I'm just glad he's away from the Yankees. I am nervous about him being a Dodger, but that's why I wanted to say like there's an article. I'll send it to you, but um, it's him just being like, yeah, this absolutely sucked. Like it was terrible for him and for the Yankees. They didn't get what they thought they would get.
Yeah, it was tough, but I think getting rid of it, getting something for Gallo was huge.
Yeah, y'all got Clayton Beaters, which
Beater.
I think Beater. Okay, Beater. I heard he struggles with control. That's a lot of people I've been listening to say that, but yeah, he's a pitcher, and maybe he could work out in the future. But yeah, is that what you were going to say before I interrupted?
Yeah, I mean he's not the greatest prospect ever. I'm fully aware of that, but I definitely believe that he could be an impactful player for us. At least more impactful than Gallo, which is very, very hard to be worse than Gallo was for the Yankees.
Yeah, it was just bad. But yeah, I have the Yankees in as well, but it's the Frankie Montas deal. You got a nice reliever as the Yankees. Um, Clay Holmes. No, Clay Holmes. Who's the reliever that went down? I know Michael King.
Went
Um,
down?
yeah, or he got injured. He's having Tommy John. I know
Clark
Michael King.
Schmidt?
No, I can't remember. I thought there was an injury. I can't remember the
No, there
injury.
was. I'm pretty sure it was Clark Schmidt. You can look it
Okay.
up. Just look it up.
Okay. Uh,
Just to verify.
okay. Okay. Oh, I was thinking of Miguel. I may have been thinking of Miguel Castro.
No, there was another one. Keep looking. I'm trying to
Okay.
think. I'm pretty sure it was Clark Schmidt though.
So
Maybe it was just Michael
Michael
King.
King,
Yeah, it was Michael
Zach
King.
Britton.
No, Britton's getting
No,
back
no,
from
he's
injury.
expected to return.
Yeah,
Chad Green, who I was thinking of. Let me check out Schmidt.
I think Schmidt's healthy. I think it was King.
Okay, I was thinking of. Oh my gosh, I
Chad Green.
literally just lost his name.
Chad Green.
Yeah, Chad Green. Because I believe he had just essentially moved into the closer role, or he was near the back end. But
Mm-hmm.
getting a reliever and then getting a pitcher like Montas, I think is a nice win for the Yankees. Even though they dealt Montgomery, but I think getting a pitcher of uh, the caliber of Montas was great. I know they were linked to Luis Castillo, but still, I think it made sense for the Yankees, who I was just glad they really went for it at this deadline. Um, I know they went for it last year's deadline, but they're in a much better position than last year. And I think they made some solid moves, and we've already talked about the move I questioned and how you feel about it and how I feel about it. So I think we can move on to the AL Central unless you got anything else to add.
Nope.
Then I'll let you start off the AL Central.
Isn't it you going?
No, is it me? Okay, I can go.
Yeah, it's me and I got
Okay.
the last one. Or you and
Okay,
I got the
gotcha.
last one.
Okay, so I have the Tyler Malley deal. This division was tough because there was really nothing. Um, I didn't really think the Royals won the Benintendi trade because I was like, I think the Yankees get a nice player, what they thought Joey Gallo would be, um, for the Yankees. So I want the Tyler Malley deal because the Twins needed starting rotation help and they got that. And I think they really separated themselves from the other teams that were leading close to leading the division, the Guardians and White Sox, mostly because they the Twins did something. They also traded for Jorge Lopez, but they just I know they gave up a lot for Tyler Malley, but I think they'll do well. Um, so they'll do well and they can win the division. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good pick. You spoiled mine though. I was gonna go Jorge Lopez, but uh, you're right. It is a tough division because of everything that happened during the trade deadline. Very little was this side, so it was hard to see where everything was coming from because this division is just stuck being not great. None of the teams are dominant. None of the teams are running away with their division. So it's a little annoying watching them kind of just stay as just average, average, average. But I feel like the Jorge Lopez deal was a good one, and I think that was probably the best trade. It's hard. This is probably the weakest division for it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely understand. My bad with stealing your
No, it's all good.
or saying your name. But yeah, I was glad the Twins like went for it, even though I'm like, I don't really consider y'all on the contenders list for the AL. But they it was lame. I like what the Royals got in the Yankees deal because they need pitching and they got 3 chances with pitchers. But I like what Benintendi offers for the Yankees. But now we'll go to the AL West.
This one was tough because I couldn't decide which Astros guy to put. But I eventually went with Will Smith, another reliever. And like I was saying, I believe that the Astros starting pitching is better than the Yankees. What I didn't say was relieving, and they needed a reliever, and they picked a great one up. And I really believe that this could be huge. Will Smith has been good all season, uh, and I definitely think that he could be a good part to the back end of a very good Astros team.
Yeah, and like he's not going to be their closer. Like be more like a setup man because they have Presley as their closer. That
Yeah.
is a good pick. I went with the Christian Vasquez trade. I really think they upgraded offensively at catcher and they didn't lose too much defensively. Maldonado, I believe, is close to like his batting average is close to like 140 or maybe it's like 160 or it's 183. Even though like he hasn't done much. I know some people will argue about batting average, but 183 batting average really not helping them offensively in any way. So I know people argue about OPS and then WRC plus, but Christian Vasquez is a great just addition offensively for catcher. And then they also got Trey Mancini, which I thought you were going to go with. Yuri Gurriel not doing well offensively. To me, they really upgraded offensively with some spots where they don't really need to upgrade offensively because you still have Jordan Alvarez, Altuve, as much credit as we give him, doing well offensively with no buzzer, we assume. Pretty sure
We
we'd know
assume.
about that. He could be. We don't know. And Jeremy Pena is filled in shortstop wise. So I really like this trade deadline for the Astros as they were in the World Series last year. Um, so I think just a very solid team. And this is the team where I think they're leading the AL. If I had to pick right now favorites to win the AL and go to the World Series, I would choose the Astros over the Yankees.
I kind of understand it. It's a tough pick. I would still take the Yankees. We've struggled for a very long time now, and we're still number one in the AL because of how dominant we started. And if we just get back to half the team we were, uh, I'm confident we could make a lot of noise.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot with the Yankees and Astros. Like we could get into an argue, or we could discuss, not argue, um, discuss what the Yankees. We haven't really argued. It would just be um, like you have Judge, and I think that's the best headliner right now in the AL. You can make an argument for Otani, but in the playoffs, it's going to be Judge because Otani's not making the playoffs. And then I just feel like the supporting cast for the Astros could be better playoff wise than the Yankees, just because you don't know how Benintendi will do in the playoffs this year. Bader, you don't know if he's going to be healthy. Stanton still getting healthy, and then even though there are some great stories with Trevino's never really been in the playoffs, and then same with their starting rotation. And I think there's some mental aspect, but I think it would be a fantastic series, and I'm kind of rooting for it, but then I don't know who I would root for. I'd
Mm-hmm.
root for Yankees because I don't want the Astros to win. But
Thank you, Kevin.
so you're welcome, helping you out, and former Rangers. So there's that. But then NL wise, I do you consider the Mets contenders?
I'd say so.
Okay, I know they're doing well, and like DeGrom's coming back. You have Scherzer, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to or continue this success into the playoffs. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
really see them making the World Series.
We'll have to see. It's tough to continue success. after a great regular season sometimes.
Yeah, and I think they just need more time to be together. Like the Yankees have been together. I know it's not most like I think how many people are still from that 2017 ALCS team?
Uh, I believe Torres, Judge. It's tough. I'd have to go back and look. I know a good bit of pitchers, if I can remember
Like
correctly.
Chapman still, I would
Yeah,
think.
obviously Chapman. Yeah.
But like this team has been together, and while you've added some new pieces, I still think they have something to where like they've been through this before. With the Mets, they're really just like they did a lot of additions, and I'm not sure if they can do it. And then I would probably pick a sleeper with the Braves, and then the Dodgers, even though they had a quiet deadline, I think are still dangerous because of just the talent they have.
Hmm.
And then Mariners, it's same reason. Like I feel they've I think they're just gonna overcome a huge hump in the playoffs, just reaching the playoffs, and then that'll be a win for them. And then the next few seasons, I think they can start going for the World Series. But those are like my contenders, and I wasn't sure if you agree with that list of contenders. Did I leave someone off?
I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports where anyone who makes the playoffs really can be a contender.
That's true. Yeah, so I kind of have like a very small list. I don't really consider the Mets, even though like they're just great right now. But that's how I feel about the contenders. We'll just keep an eye on it. But I would say good trade deadline, or I would say it was a fun trade deadline. What do you think?
Yeah, it was fun.
Cool. So make sure to check out our other videos. Make sure to check out interviews. We've done 3 interviews past 4 weeks. Tepper, Oscar, and Zach. And let us know what you think of those, and make sure to check out all our other videos. We appreciate you following us, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.